in collaboration with Addis Media Network. This is English for grade 6. I am your teacher, Miss Sanait Hailu. Hello students, how have you been? Last week, we have learned about the present perfect, right? Can you tell about the present perfect? Can you tell us the form of the present perfect, or why or when we use the present perfect? I am sure you can tell it. You can tell us, right? And have you done the homework? Very good. Let us revise it a little bit. The form of the present perfect, the form of the present perfect is subject, yeah? Subject plus has for the singular subjects and have for the plural subject plus, and our verb is past participle, or what we call verb 3, right? Very good. And we said that we use this present perfect. The first purpose is to express an action, yeah? The first for an action happened, an action happened in the past, happened in the past, and continue till now, right? For example, if you remember, I told you about myself. I said, I have lived in Addis Ababa, yeah, for 3 years. That means I started living in Addis Ababa 3 years ago, and still now I am living in Addis Ababa, right? And the second purpose is what? For an action. By the way, when we say that an action happened in the past and continue until now, all right? For this, and we can also use it for an action that happened in the past, but when we don't know the specific time, all right? And when the specific time is not expressed, okay? Be careful. You have to identify the difference between the simple past and the present perfect, all right? When we say that we are doing or we have done an action someday in the past without a specific time, we use what? We use the present perfect, right? And if you know the specific time of happening, for example, if you say, I have seen Titanic 3 years ago, that's wrong, because you are telling us the exact time of happening. So instead of present perfect, we use what? The simple past. These were the main topics that we have seen last time. And today we will learn about the use of has to and have to, yeah, within the WH questions, all right? The use of what? Has to or have to in a WH questions and affirmative sentence. After this lesson, you will be able to express important necessity using has to and have to, or you can also ask a yes or no and WH questions using this has to and have to. And the other thing is practicing such questioning and answering can help you develop your language fluency, all right? So today we learn about has to and have to with affirmative and WH questions. All right? Follow me. Okay. Have to, or has to in affirmative and WH questions. Okay, so before we directly go to our today's lesson, can you tell me the WH questions? Which are the words that we call, or which are the words that help us to construct a WH question? Please try to tell your answers to your parents or people around you. Good. The WH questions are, yes, what, when, where, why, and how. These are the words that we call what? WH questions. Of course, we can call them relative pronouns, except this one because we use them for a relative pronoun, right? Very good. Today we're going to see how to use these words with have to and has to. Okay? Good. Now, the other thing I want to ask you is, can you differentiate when to use have to and when to use has to? Because I remember we have seen these two words when we were learning about the modal auxiliaries. Yes? Yeah, in the case of modal auxiliaries, we said that we use have to or has to express what? Necessity. Do you remember that? Very good. Yes. So, when do we use have to and when do we use has to? Or what is the difference between have to and has to? Let's see them. All right? Have to. Have to. Yeah? Have to is used with plural subjects. Very good. Have to is used with plural subjects, except I. Actually, I uses have to, but it's not plural. You know it, right? Good. So, for I, we, you, and they. Or plural names, like, for example, Abel and Sarah. How many individuals do I have here? Abel is one and Sarah is another. Yes? We have two students. So that means it's plural. In such case, we use what? We use have to. Right? Very good. How about has to? Has to. Has to is used for a singular subject. Yes? Singular subject means he, yeah, she, and for objects and animals, it. Or, just like we have seen here on the plural side, for single or individual names, like, for example, if you simply say Abel without Sarah, yeah? Abel is singular. Even the name is replaced by the pronoun he, right? So, for such a singular subject, we use what? Has to. And as we said, we use these two modal auxiliaries to express what? Necessity. These two are helpful to express necessity. Yes? Necessity. Something which is important, right? Can you give me or can you tell me something important by using has to or have to? It's better if you use have to, which is for your own sake. Can you tell me something important? Like, for example, we can say what? We can say, I have to study. I have to study hard. Yes? I have to study hard. Or you can say, my sister, yes, my sister has to practice. My sister has to practice in the gym. In the gym. Look, I have to study hard. My sister has to practice in the gym. That means for you to study hard is what? Is necessary because you want to pass your exams, yes? Or you want to improve your rank, right? For example, if your rank on the first semester was like third, then you want to be what? The first. In order to achieve that goal, something is necessary. What is that? To study. So, what do we say? I have to study hard, right? And for your sister, in order to perform well in her exercise, yes, she has to do something. And what is that? She has to practice in the gym, right? So have to and has to, they can help us to express or tell what? Strong necessity, right? Very good. Now we will see today how we collaboratively use them in affirmative sentence and the WH questions, all right? Or we can say extended questions because we are not only using the WH questions, okay? Now look at the question that I asked first, all right? My first question is like this. Do you have to wake up early? Do you have to wake up early? Do you have to wake up early? What kind of question is it? Listen, before you answer, in order to tell me what kind of question it is, now remember how you answer. When I say, do you have, or are you, or have you, for such questions, the answer is yes or no. So, based on the answer, such kind of questions that begin with auxiliaries are called yes or no questions. Okay? Good. So, what do I say now? In this yes or no question, please look at the structure or the sentence, the grammatical pattern that I followed, okay? I start by saying what? Do. Yes? Do you, then after do, which is the auxiliary, there comes what? You. Yes? A subject. Okay, then what do I use? Have to. So I am asking you if waking up early is a necessity for you. Okay? Do you have to wake up early? Then what do you say? Yes? If you accept or if you believe that, yes, you have to, what do you say? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay? Do you have to wake up early? Yes, I do. Right? How about if not? For example, Sunday and Saturday is your break time. You don't have school, so maybe you don't want to wake up early. So at that time, if not necessary, all right? What do you say? No, I don't. Very good. No, I don't. Good. Okay? Do you have to wake up early? Yes, I do. Or negative, no, I don't. Now look, let's extend this now. All right, since we are making conversation, yes, we are taking turns in question and answer, let's extend our conversation. How do we extend it? That is our basic and today's lesson. We ask additional question using WH questions. Very good. Those that we have mentioned earlier, yes? For example, for someone who says, yes, I do, okay? I say to you, do you have to wake up early? And he said what? Yes, I do. Then here comes another question. Why do you have to wake up early? Why? Why do you have to wake up early? Why do you have to wake up early? What am I asking when I say why? What am I asking? I am asking for a reason. You heard me, right? I am asking for a reason. What makes you wake up early? Then how do you start your answer? Very good. You say what? Because. Yeah? Because. Yes? Because I have, remember to follow this structure, okay? Because I have to do some exercise before school. Yeah? Before school. Some exercise means sport. Yes? Very good. Do you have, the first question is yes or no question, because you answer by saying yes or no, okay? Do you have to wake up early? Then your positive answer is yes, I do. Then there comes another question. Why do you have to wake up early? Why? It's a reason, yeah? Because, yes, because I have to do some exercise before school. How about for the person who says, no, I don't? Yeah, you ask him why not, right? Because that person might say, this person might say, because I have to take some rest. Yeah? Because I have to take some rest. Have you seen the way how I was asking and how you were answering? Can you notify the language that we were using? First, we asked using the yes or no question. And then after the yes or no, we come into the WH, because since it is communication, during communication there are lots of what? Taking turns, yes? The conversation has to be what? A little bit longer. So I use the WH question with what? With have to. So far we have seen have to with WH. We will see has to later on, okay? So why do you have to wake up early? Then the person tells his or her reason by saying what? Because I have to do some exercise before school. Yeah? The person who says, no, I don't, if you ask him why not, he says what? Because I have to take some rest. That means I have to stay. Yes, I have to stay on my bed. So this is how we use do with have to or has to. We will see does and the other one and the WH question. Let me give you some other example, okay? All right. Let us see how we use has to. This time you have to be very, very seriously attentive, all right? Okay, because has to might not be that much simple like have to, okay? Follow me. Look, somebody, yes, somebody, which means it can be a girl or a boy, can express his or her necessity using has to, right? We agreed on that. Very good. Just like this. She has to, she has, for example, if the first person was a boy that we were talking, she has to wake up early. She has to wake up early. Yes? She has to wake up early. Do you remember how we were making such a thing while we were learning about the modal auxiliaries? How were we making them negative? In order to be negative, we were using, yeah, for have to, do not, yeah, or don't, yes, and for has to, does not, right? These were the words that helped us to make negative. For example, for this one, in order to make it negative, what do we say? The positive one is she has to wake up early. Yes? Okay, let's make it negative. How do we make it negative? Since she is singular, we use does. We use this one. Yes? Yes. She, yeah? She doesn't, now look, or she does not. Yes? Now, I used does because my subject is singular. Right? So, what comes next? Is it has to? No. Since we already implied that our subject is singular by using does, we use what? Have to. Very good. She does not have to wake up to wake up early. You see? On the affirmative sentence, we use has to because our subject is singular. But in order to make it negative, we add an auxiliary does not, right? So in that case, instead of has, we use what? Have. Very good. She does not have to wake up early. Okay? Now, let me show you some conversations that happened among my students. All right? Look, teacher. Now, this time, teacher is asking the teacher, okay? Then he said, do you, or let me change it like this, just to make it simple. To make it simple, let's start with the WH. Teacher. Who has, since our teacher is simply asking for one person, yeah? For one person, then instead of have, we use has. Who has to cook? Who has to cook every day? Who has to cook every day? This is a question that I asked for my students, okay? Then students together, students, they say Mary. Mary. Yeah? Then I called Mary by name and asked her this question. Look, Mary, do you have, look, Mary, do you have to cook? Mary, do you have to cook every day? Do you have to cook every day? Then Mary replied. She said like this. Mary, she said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Look, she said what? Yes, I do. Yes? Then I continued asking, teacher, I said, when do you have, now look, now there comes what? When, the other WH question which asks for time. Very good. Teacher says, when do you have to cook? So the teacher is asking, or I was asking for time. Yes? And Mary said, she said, I have to cook. I have to cook. Yeah? Every evening. Every evening. Now, do you see our conversation? First, I asked to the whole class. I said what? Who has to cook every day? Right? Then the whole class together, since they know they are friends, they said what? They said, Mary, 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 all of them. Like what you do in your classrooms with your teacher, right? Then I called Mary and I said to her, Mary, do you have to cook every day? Now, do you see what kind of question do I ask? Yes, I asked yes or no question, yeah? So since my question is yes or no question, Mary answers by saying what? Yes, I do. Then I extended the question by using the WH question. Very good. What do I say? When do you have to cook? I'm now asking her for the time, right? Look what Mary has said. She said what? I have to cook every evening. Yeah? This is the conversation between Mary and me. Now, I want to ask you what we said or what we communicate with Mary. Now remember these sentences. Remember and keep them in your mind, okay? The first one, who has to cook every day? Then students together, Mary and me, Mary, do you have to cook every day? Then Mary, she said, yes, I do. Yeah? And then I continued asking, when do you have to cook? And Mary said, I have to cook every evening. This is the communication between Mary and I. So let me ask you about Mary now. All right. Now we talk about your teacher, me, with Mary, right? Now, as I told you, I'm going to ask you about Mary, what we have discussed with her, okay? Now follow me and try to remember what Mary has answered, and you will give me the same answer, all right? Good. Here is the question. Me, your teacher, I am asking you, your teacher, Miss Knight, I am asking what? Does Mary, what do I come next? Yeah, since I already have said does to show that our subject is singular, I say what? Have. Does Mary have to cook every day? This is what I asked to Mary, right? I said to Mary what? Do you have to cook every day? Yes? And then Mary said what? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, what do you say about Mary? Now we are talking about a third person because I am the first person who is asking a question and you are the second person to answer my question, and we are talking about Mary, yes? And Mary is our third person. And we use what? The third person subjects, right? Okay, so does Mary have to cook every day? And you, what do you say? Tell your answers to your parents or your friends around. Yes? Do you say, yes, she does? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Yeah, because Mary said what? Yes, I do. And when we talk about her, we say, yes, she does. Now let me continue what I asked next to Mary. Yes? I say to her, when do you, right? When do you have to cook? Now I'm talking about her, so when does she have to cook? When does she have to cook? And Mary said what? I have to cook every evening. How about you, about Mary? What do you say? Yes. You say she, yeah? Yes? She has to cook every evening. That is what Mary told us, yeah? Every evening. Yes? Isn't that amazing? You and I, we were talking about somebody else in English, asking questions, asking yes or no question, and then continue asking the WH question. Yeah? Very good. If you practice asking questions each other with your friends in English and answering in English, it is very simple. You develop what? Your language ability. Okay? Don't afraid to speak in English at school with your friends or with your teachers. All right? Very good. Now, let's try to remember what we have seen today. Today, we have discussed how to use have to and has to, those who help us to express necessity, with yes or no and WH questions, right? Yes. And the WH questions, as we have mentioned them, they are questions that seek for explanation. For example, if you say why, you are asking for a reason. When, you are asking for a time, yeah? And if you say where, you are asking for a place, yeah? Very good. Then we also use what? The do and does for yes or no question, right? Do you remember how we use do and does in a yes or no question? Yeah, have you seen my sentences above? We use do with the plural subjects, okay? Do is with the plural subjects, okay, including I. We say what? Do I, or do you, or do we, or do they, and plural names. Okay? How about does? Does is used with the singular subjects like does he, yeah? Let me make it since it is in the middle of a sentence. Does he and does she, or does it, or singular names like Mary. For example, look at this sentence. I said what? Does Mary. Since my subject is Mary and Mary is singular, I use what? Does. And then since I imply or show that Mary is singular by saying does, now instead of have to, I use what? Has to in my question. But in your answer, there is nothing negative and there is no does. What do you say? She has to. Look at this. I said what? Does Mary have to? And you, she has to. Okay? Don't forget this pattern. All right? So, how was my today's lesson? Was it good? If you want to be good in English, as I told you earlier, please don't be afraid to speak in English with your teachers or your friends or your parents at home. All right? So this was all what I have for today, but I want you to write 2 or 3 sentences based on a situation. Okay, let me give you the situation. All right. So this is going to be your homework to practice at home using English, all right? Homework. Okay. Use have to or has to, yeah? Or has to, okay? On the given situations. On the given situations. For example, my first situation is has to go to the library. To the library every Saturday. Now, use this situation and ask each other. First, ask yes or no question. Then, based on the answer, extend it with the WH question, okay? And another situation, yeah? Has to use a bus to school. This is the other situation. Has to use a bus to school. Ask each other. Ask your friend by saying do. And then for 3, all right, try to ask 2 of you about the third person, just like what we have done, Mary and I, with you, okay? So these are 2 situations to practice our today's language lesson. This was all what I have for today. I will see you next time. Until then, have a good one.